The Garden of Eden, where Eve and Adam were expelled by God for taking a bite from the apple, from the tree of knowledge. It's interesting to think about it because what exactly is a tree of knowledge, and why the snake tempted Eve with his apple, with his taste from this apple. And another thing, why God placed this tree of knowledge in the middle of the garden. Why tempt people with this tree of knowledge and then exile them from the walled paradise where they used to live secure life? What interesting, because God gave us free will. We're the one who decide to act or not to act upon. We're the one. I always have this prayer within me to God that, please God, give me wisdom, but mostly give me strength to act upon this wisdom. Because without strength, all your wisdom is just useless information that you're not gonna act out in real life. What's the point to know if you cannot act your knowledge out? All your knowledge becomes just irrelevant and useless since you're too weak to do anything about it. And that's why the tree of knowledge with a snake were in the middle of the Garden of Eden. That's why Eve took this apple and took a bite from this apple. And then Adam, along with her, were exiled from the walled garden, from the walled paradise where they used to live with no pain. And I try to adapt this to our modern reality. In some sense, walled garden is the family structure, and there's really serious hierarchy in this family structure. And the point of this hierarchy, the highest goal of this hierarchy is the family itself, because you have to sacrifice all your bodily urges just to preserve this family. And because the tree of knowledge in every room inside of your house, inside of your bedroom, and always tempt you. There's always a snake on this tree of knowledge, tempts you with a fruit, with a something new to try, with a something that incredibly corrupted, because it's unearned knowledge that you don't deserve, that you don't need. Because everything you need, you have to work hard for. If something gives you something for free with the promises of something special, you have to be very suspicious about this thing. That's why we all have this tree of knowledge inside of our apartments, inside of their houses. This tree of knowledge is our biology that we're supposed to face and supposed to resist, because these urges are our biological urges, and we always want to act upon our biological urges, and they're bad, they're corruptive, they're incredibly degrading, and they make us weak. That's why I think this tree of knowledge symbolize, and the apple and the snake, because the snake just gave this voice to our biology, to the words from our biology, this our biological urge. And that's what snake did, is just the voice of corruption, the voice of degradation, the voice of everything bad that lives within us. And now if you take modern time, we have this algorithm that corrupt people, mislead them, try to play on their lowest taste, because you go online and this algorithm try to adapt the content for you specifically without challenging you, and you getting relaxed, you getting weak. It seems like the entire world serve you. The entire world try to make you comfortable, try to make you simple, try to degrade you in your own taste, There's no more challenges. And that's what pornography does to man. And again, you have the same parallel idea. If you take pornography, for example, women are the one who produce, they're active, and men are the one who consume, they're passive. The same idea as in the Bible when Eve were active participant and Adam was passive participant. And once you open the door to those urges, the problem is they're there. You cannot defeat them because they're your biology. That's what it is. It's just your biological reality. There's no way to defeat it unless you want to just kill your biology. But if your biology dies, you die along with your biology because you're not a body, you're a body. It means that this tree of knowledge always will be in front of you. The snake always gonna look for the fashionable, sexy words to seduce you, to tempt you, to make you act upon those urges. And what you need to do, you have to face this snake. You have to acknowledge this snake. You have to know you're not going to win this battle, but what you can do is to keep resisting, to keep fighting against those urges. You have to stop and think carefully about it. Do I want to become a producer of corruption, to add more darkness to this world? Do I want to be a passive consumer of this produced corruption, to add more misery and weakness to this world? You know, David Goggins said that when you change yourself, you start with failure, self-doubt, and then darkness. And only inside of this deep darkness you can discover true light. And this true light of yourself, because there's no light without plunging your soul inside of the darkness. That's what happened to us. We're not going to defeat this corruption within us. It always will be in us. And most of us, unfortunately, unlucky. Most of us didn't have mentors who would explain us when we were in those years when we only start discovering our out of control biology. Most of us just got corrupted too early, and we live with this, and we've been living with this corruption for too long. But it's never too late to face it, to face the snake and say no to its temptation, because you don't want to be a passive participant of this degrading consumerism, where you kind of like, Australian beetle that mate with a brown bottle. That's what happened in Australia with these beetles. They were mating with the brown bottles. That's why in Australia it's forbidden to throw brown bottles outside, because these beetles almost went to extinct. That's what happened to man, for example. You watch pornography, that's the same idea as a beetle mating with a brown bottle, because that's what it creates. Illusion of mating, illusion of intimacy, maybe. I don't know if you can call it intimacy. That's how we become passive. We take the most strongest force, especially for men, that accessible for us, this sexual force, and we don't channel this force anymore to build, to create, to be heroes. Now we just hijack this force voluntarily on pornography, on video games, and drown this force, waste this force till the day we die, becoming weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. Without realizing it, it's such a powerful force, because sex drive is the most powerful drive you can imagine. It can actually make a monster out of you that can do anything you want. Incredibly grateful for making something great out of your life. But unfortunately, many of us lost in this dark forest, in this darkness where we keep numbing ourselves with this corruption, with this thing that we learn from early ages, and nobody told us to stop. Nobody told us you have to resist your temptation, because your body doesn't know any better. Your body doesn't know. It just doesn't. And if you think that your body knows, your body needs a lot of bad things. It's craving for sugar. It's craving for junk food. It's craving for sex all the time. But it doesn't mean you need this stuff all the time. You have to be able to restrain your body. Real freedom lies inside of the restraints. The more you restrain voluntarily yourself, the more freedom you have. Because otherwise, you're enslaved by your vices. You're enslaved by your own corruption. And people who corrupted, they're incredibly weak because they just waiting to die inside of their fearful existence. Because they measure their life from one urge to another. It's like they don't have life at all. They don't have time at all, because once they satisfy their urge, they're waiting for the next time when they're able to satisfy the same urge. And then again and again and again. It's not a life, it's just existing, jumping from one urge to another, and don't using yourself properly without making proper sacrifice. Because what is exactly to make a proper sacrifice? You have to sacrifice your biology. And how you sacrifice your biology? By restraining your biology, by understanding your biology, and by trying to prevent your biology from controlling you, from controlling your mind. It's never easy. I mean, you can develop a habit of controlling your biology, but it's not going to be easy. It's always going to be hard. Every time when you wake up in the morning, you want to sleep a little bit longer, but you have to force yourself from the bed and start a new day with a new work, with a new adventure. It's never easy. Life is not easy, and life is not supposed to be easy, because nothing good comes easy. That's the entire point, to be able to sacrifice your biology by controlling your biology, and to overcome your biology with your mind. Keep your observer sharp. Learn about yourself. Because once you learn about yourself, once your observer becomes sharp, you see the world differently, because your subjective experience becomes more sophisticated, and suddenly you see objective reality as a playground where you know how to play it. It's like you become a chess master in a chess game, because you know how everything moves, what everything does, because that's what life is. Because everybody kind of the same with the same biology, and you understand better people's motivation, you understand better people's idea of existence, and suddenly you know how to navigate properly among other people's subjective experiences by learning properly about your own subjective experience that become more sophisticated as the result of it.